This is the 5th edition of the About IBD podcast. I'm your host, Amber Tresca. I sat down with Brooke Abbott, the crazy Creole mommy, when we were in Chicago for Digestive Disease Week. We talked about quite a few things, mostly about being a parent with IBD and what that has meant to us and how that has presented some distinct challenges in our lives. We also talked a little bit about how we might clone ourselves and how would that work with IBD. Brooke is a special kind of advocate because she works a lot in health policy. So she's aware of what bills are coming up on the Hill and how the voting might go. This has been especially important lately, and Brooke has been of great help to us as we navigate how healthcare is changing in the United States. And for that reason and many others, I recommend following the Crazy Creole Mommy wherever she is on the internet, because she has a way of cutting through and letting us know what's important about what's happening in our government in regards to healthcare. You are going to love her as much as I do. So here we go. So my friend Brooke, it's been a long day at DDW. We've had a long day, and I wanted to talk to you about being a parent with IBD. And it was actually kind of funny because both of us sort of had things going on today that were indicative of exactly what happens when you're trying to work and manage your health, and then you've got stuff going on at home, and it's kind of been a day. Everybody's okay. Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine. They're just, they're just being kids.
Right.
Right? It's just family.
And it's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
And especially when you're away and nobody can be you.
Yes. Yes. Nobody can be me except for the clone that I've been trying to put an order in for, and I haven't received it yet. It's so irritating.
I feel like even a clone, though, you'd have to have some intensive training with the clone before the clone could even take over for you.
Yeah, I feel like she might miss some steps because it would probably be my clone from when I was 21, because I need her to have all the energy. Although I don't even think I really had that much energy at 21 because I had disease.
Right, that you didn't know. No, yeah. I don't even know what it's like to be a normal person. I don't know what it's like to be a normal adult. What is that like? I have not had that experience.
Oh, man.
So
I guess maybe the clone thing is...
Maybe not. Maybe we need to wait until they figure out how to fix things before.
Yeah, they could just remove certain gene issues and then clone me.
Yeah, sure, like the 200 genes that they've associated with IBD.
Yeah. I think that's super easy. I mean, I'm not asking for a lot here. I'm just asking for a modified clone. That's all
myself.
I'm asking. Of myself.
What if one of the genes that is connected to the IBD is also a gene that is connected to something integral regarding your personality?
Oh,
like what?
That would suck. Oh, that would suck.
But I think that would be the way that it would go, don't you?
You mean well, maybe so. Maybe that's why I'm so adamant about being a go-getter, because I'm sick.
So, yeah, I totally want to talk about that because you're the crazy Creole mommy. You're not crazy, though.
No, but motherhood kind of makes you crazy. Come on, let's just be completely honest.
Okay.
I started the brand, I started that hashtag Crazy Creole Mommy when my son was a toddler, and I would just tweet about things that were happening during the day.
Right.
Putting him in the car seat after having changed him and everything, and then suddenly he poops right as I'm putting him in the car. Or, the guzzling breast milk like it was the greatest thing ever, and then he pukes it all up all over me after I've pumped and pumped and pumped liquid gold. It's coming out of his mouth, but he's totally fine. Mm-hmm. So I started tweeting about stuff like that, and it was funny little stories,
yeah, about
motherhood, and I used the hashtag because I didn't feel crazy. I mean, of course I was grateful and everything for everything, but it was a new me, and it just, if I could split myself up, and took the non-mom me, and had her follow the mommy around,
Right.
she'd be like, oh my God, she's so crazy. Like, her life is nuts.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so that's where it came from.
That's
and then
where it came
I am
from.
Creole, and you know.
Right. And it came in that fun alliteration with the crazy Creole
Yeah.
mommy.
And
Just
it,
came.
it just kind of encompasses
there.
everything.
So you started on Twitter? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with IBD.
Right.
I just started using that hashtag, which is crazy. My Twitter name was my name, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just started as a hashtag.
That's so interesting how everything flowed organically from there. It almost sounds like it wasn't purposeful.
No, I just started tweeting like, it's, you know, really, guys, this is life. Because all my friends didn't have kids.
Okay.
You know, so they were kind of like, what do you mean you didn't shower today? I did not shower today because the smallest person in the house needed me. Or yesterday, and I probably won't shower tomorrow.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then on top of dealing with quote unquote regular motherhood,
Right.
you were coping at first with your ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
And then you were coping with surgery.
Yeah.
And so you also have not had, the way I feel this way, not had what would be considered a typical, I don't know what it is to be a typical mother.
No, I have no idea what that is. I look at typical mothers and I'm like, that's all you have to do. You know, I'm not trying to knock anybody.
No,
But I
no.
listen to them talk about their day, and I'm like, oh, you didn't wake up like an hour and a half before to wake your J pouch up to go to the bathroom and
Right.
completely empty it so that you can just walk your kid to school?
Right.
No?
Right.
Oh, you didn't pick your kid up after having your infusion and feeling like a zombie and all the kids looking at your bandaged hands like, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, because I'm a hard stick.
Uh-huh.
I'm a hard stick. And
Yeah.
so on occasion, I may look like a mummy because, you know, the tap is dry sometimes.
So, but I mean, when you're getting your infusion, you would think that the people that were infusing you would be used to people that were difficult to start a line in.
I mean, it's not all the time, but there
Okay.
are those days where the veins look great and basically, like, my body loves to play practical jokes on everybody, you know?
Yeah.
There were times when, you know, the doctor was like, it looks like everything's okay. Oh, wait, we just did a scope. I was just kidding. Blood work is not really matching what I'm seeing. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So, and then you're back to, okay, well, what is going on?
Right, which is insane to have to think about while you're having to take care of another human being. And it's not
Right.
just take care of, like, every decision that you make for that person affects their entire life. And every decision that you make for yourself affects that person's entire life.
Right.
So when I'm talking about my therapy and treatment and everything for my IBD, I'm also talking about the effects that it's going to have on my son. And that's crazy.
It is crazy. And that also, I think, calls into play here the idea of self-care in that I think a lot of mothers are told that they need to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
It starts with sleep when the baby sleeps, and then it goes from there. And a lot of mothers don't. I think they give too much of themselves, probably.
Yeah.
But I think for mothers like us, at times I feel like I've been forced into the break.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't even move forward anymore. You have to
You're
stop.
just done. You're
Yeah.
just done. And someone said to me not too long ago that I do too much and that's why that happens.
Yeah.
But that's not true. It just happens. There are times when I could really not do much and my body is just like, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
Or the week.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I have no choice.
So it's independent, really, of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just your body's going to do what it's going to do, and it's not going to matter so much as to whether or not you are overextending yourself in other people's eyes, I would say.
And I will say that I am guilty. I am an overachiever.
Yeah.
I always have been.
Yeah.
I'm okay with juggling things.
Right.
But there are times when I can honestly say, like, I'm not really juggling much. You know? We will have some time off, and then suddenly my jaw hurts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like this past weekend, that actually happened. Like, I was good. I was fine, and then I woke up, and literally my jaw was on fire. And there was nothing I could do. I took pain medication. I put hot compresses on.
Yeah.
I couldn't coach. I couldn't do laundry. I couldn't even make my son cereal. Like, it was just... And that wasn't that wasn't from anything. That was just my body saying, I just wanted to remind you that you're sick.
In case you forgot.
I think you might have forgotten. So guess what? Bam! There you go.
You know, I'm kind of wondering if this is actually a slight phenomenon, because I think it's also happened to me, and I wonder if it's not almost a little bit of going full speed ahead and dealing with everything, and then you have a little bit of time. And I'll, because for myself, like my month, like everything is mapped out way ahead of time, where I'm traveling, what I'm doing, what I'm writing about, and doctor's appointments, and fitting all that in there. And usually there's no wiggle room. And I might have a day where I'm going to say, this is the day where I'm going to maybe take an easy day or whatever. That's usually the day when my body says, nope.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if that's not some kind of phenomenon, that if you're not moving full speed ahead, once you take a minute to try to take a breath, everything sort of crashes in on you.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how it happens.
Right.
It's kind of like, when your kids have eaten dinner, and they're all done, and they're like, I'm full, and they like get up from the table. Yeah. And then you go and make yourself a plate, and then they smell food, and they're like, oh, I was just kidding, I'm gonna eat off your plate. That's what that is.
That's kind of what it seems like to me. Yeah. So it's almost like, it's almost like you really can't ever, when you do catch a break that you feel like you're going to rest and give yourself that time to recuperate, that's almost when your body almost takes it a step too far. Yeah,
it's like, oh, you want to rest? Oh, yeah, okay. You won't be able to get up for 12 hours.
Right. Yeah. And here's some pain for you.
Some pain, and here's just a little reminder. Right. A little bit of bloating, a little bit of all that goodness.
That who's in charge.
Yeah. And which is interesting, because when you have children, they say, you're not in charge of your life anymore. Well, I really wasn't in charge of my life before.
To begin with, yeah.
So now, well, all right. So it's just, my son always says him and IBD, they were neighbors. Because they both lived inside my body.
Oh my gosh.
And, and they both pretty much run my life. Yeah. My schedule, my calendar is like hippo, doctor. Right. Right. Advocacy, medical. Right. Hippo. Like, it's just, where's Brooke in there?
Yes. Where is Brooke? Not mom. Right. Not daughter. Right. Not even advocate. Right. Because I personally feel that that's really a 24/7 thing. It never leaves you. It's a passion. Yeah. Where's Brooke?
Where's Brooke? Where'd she go?
And how do you say no? When do you say no to things or to people? or do you? I think you probably never say no to opportunities, because that's how I am.
I don't know. I don't ever say no if someone needs me.
Yeah.
Or if I feel like I can help them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like because I need the gratification of helping people. It's because I feel like so many people have helped me that I feel like it's my duty to pay it forward. And
right.
when the opportunity comes to be able to help someone, I have to do it. So I feel like in that instance, I don't say no. But I also think that I don't even give people an opportunity to ask. I offer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because I offer too often.
Mm-hmm.
So part of it's my fault, you know?
I mean, I kind of would push back on the idea that there's fault.
Right.
But I will say that for myself, I have come to the point where I have thought that I was going to offer something of myself to someone who needed me, and then now I'm starting to say, you know what? Now, there are times when I might be the only person that can help that person, and that's absolutely. But then there's a lot of other times where I have to say, you know what? There is probably somebody else that could help.
Yeah, and I've got to learn that.
So I pull back a little bit and just let that situation play out.
Yeah, I need to learn that.
When your first instinct is to help, when you've been brought up that way and when you feel strongly community minded, that's ingrained. But then you also have to remember that you're not the only person that can help this person solve their problem, whatever it is.
Right. So basically you're saying it's my parents' fault.
So I'm going to say that it's probably the fault of one of those hundreds of genes that we are carrying that has some tie-in with the IBD that also ties in with being so community focused and wanting to help people. And because I'm the person that, the party's over, let me start picking up the plates. I mean, it's just
you just do, you just do it. You just do it. I think that I've had that before. I had that before IBD. I mean, I look at who I've been as a person, but I think having had IBD so severely and having my experience with, that it sounds so dramatic, my brush with death. But,
it's okay. But you can bring some drama, Mama.
I mean, having been at that point, sometimes I do feel like I just have to live my life. I just have to do, because I remember being in that hospital thinking, this can't be it. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. This is really it. I was sitting there trying to make peace with things, but saying to myself, this can't be it. I didn't get to do this. I didn't my son hasn't even turned 3 yet.
Right.
What I need to be able to I have so many things to accomplish. I have so many things on my list.
Yeah.
And I think now sometimes my mom will say, oh, you could do that next year. And it's I have felt that feeling where I knew that there was not going to be a next year.
Right.
And that is why I do what I do. My son has a birthday party every year. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Sometimes we'll have a dinner party, but we have to have something. Yeah. Because I almost missed out every single birthday. Right. His second birthday was going to be my last. Right. And that, I just don't know where this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be IBD that takes me out.
Right. Well,
But that idea
is always in the back of your head.
Is in the back of my head because I was there.
I got some really good advice from a boss some years ago. It was before I was married, and I was describing to him about, you're trying to get married and you're saving money and you're figuring this all out, and then of course you want a house and da-da-da-da. And he said, there's never a perfect time for anything. Yeah. Just do it. Yeah. Whatever it is. And tried to live my life that way. Yeah. Yeah. And IBD is another added aspect of it that you have no idea where it's going to take you tomorrow.
It's kind of always behind you, like it's there.
Waiting.
It's just waiting to jump out. And I'm pretty skittish, so I'm like looking around, figuring out how to get away from it, you know. But you're not going to get away from it. It's always going to be there. IBD!
But I feel like, too, sometimes I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones, though, too. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah. I you know what? I have survivor's guilt. I do.
Oh, I completely have that.
Yeah. I mean, I have my things, and I'm still taking biologics, and I've got this thing with my back, and I've got whatever. But there are people that are way worse. Yeah. Or dead. Yeah. And I'm not. Yeah. So I almost feel kind of obligated to live my life because they can't.
It's an obligation.
Yeah. I'm not, I'm not on a feeding tube. I'm not in a wheelchair. Right. I'm not, I have limitations, but it could be worse. And it was worse.
It was worse.
I can never go back to that.
Right.
Never.
Right.
I showed you that picture the other day of me at Jackson's birthday party.
Right. And you were so thin and obviously ill. And I think something that we see a lot, that we hear a lot about how you don't look sick and da-da-da, and I would hear it all the time too, about, you're so skinny and la la. Because there's some kind of thought that if you're thin, that you're healthy and that's a good look. Yeah. But actually what you are is malnourished.
Yeah. And I look at my goodness, what kind of mother was I really? Yeah. I don't think I was a bad mother, but I just feel bad that I look at that girl and I think, oh my God, you struggle just to pick up your baby. Right. You struggle just to change diapers. Right. God bless you. Right. Because I don't even know how you did it. Right. I mean, I don't know how to be that sick anymore. And that is, that's amazing.
That's an interesting statement, and I completely identify with it. Yeah. And when something does happen, and I think that things might be going downhill, and sometimes they just go a little ways downhill, but I always worry that they're going to go all the way downhill. And there's always that thought of, am I going to have to be that person again who weighed 89, 90 pounds and couldn't do anything? Yeah. And yet people would say things like, wow, you look great. Yeah. And them not understanding how upsetting that was.
I mean, I look at that picture and think about all the people that said, ooh, look at you, girl, you lost all that baby weight.
You lost all the baby weight. Yeah. Yeah.
That picture does not look normal.
Right.
I don't look normal.
No. Yeah. It's a striking contrast, because you're so much better today.
I mean, my son was literally bigger than me. Yeah. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. He had his little toddler apple-cheeked roundness. Yeah. And, you were all sharp edges and being held together. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Which is really very scary.
And that's that added pressure too. Just not wanting to be sick for your kids because I think about having to be sick now with him being 7 and needing baseball and homework, and I can't lay in the bed with him all day like I did when he was a toddler.
Well, that's It was almost easier then.
Yeah,
actually.
it was. Yeah, you put him in the the little ergo and go to the bathroom. He's still nothing. I may feel like I'm dying, but he's sound asleep.
All right. Yeah.
Now he's sticking homework underneath the door because
Mom, is this right?
It's like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My kids have a limited understanding of it. I think they understand more, and I don't know if it's the same is true for your son, but that because I travel and I'm working, and that they almost have a more complete understanding of what's going on with me, because it's almost at the point that my whole identity is wrapped up in it.
Yeah. So. Well, my son saw my ostomy. Like, he saw me go from whole to ostomy to J-pouch.
Right.
And I think that like, I had no choice but to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And be honest with him and continue to talk to him about it so that he feels safe.
Right.
And I as great as my kid is with this, I envy parents that there are parents out there that don't even talk to their kids. They don't have to. They don't have to talk to their kids about it. They don't have to talk to their kids about surgery. Their kids don't know that they have a J-pouch.
Right.
And it's because, it's probably happened before they were born. And so I feel bad that he was in the thick of it with me, No,
but he has a very unique perspective on it because he was there with you going through it.
Yeah.
And he was at the point where you had to explain what was happening.
Yeah.
Because he would ask questions and...
Well, I was in the hospital for most of that time. And, that whole colectomy time that I was in the hospital, I saw him once.
Yeah.
I think it was like almost 30 days I was in there. Like, it was something crazy, like 20-something days.
Yeah.
And in that time, I saw him one time.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was going to see him after that.
Right.
Ever again.
Right.
And that one time was, I think they let me sit out there for an hour.
Right.
So, yeah, that is it's sad that that's like our bond. But it is. It is what it is.
But it's a unique one. And it,
hopefully it makes him a very kind person, an empathetic person.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true. And I think as advocates, we're always trying to find the good in what's happened to us. And there's an awful lot of bad, but most of us could probably name 10 things good that have come from it.
Yeah.
And that would be one of them, the very close bond that you have with your son for that reason.
And he says that all the time. He says, his speech for the luncheon, he says in his speech that there were a lot of bad things that happened because of IBD, but there's so many good things. Like, we get to advocate, and we have new friends, and we have an IBD family that understands what we're going through. Right. And he said something like, we have a purpose. Right. And that was interesting.
It is interesting.
That he looks at what I do as an advocate as a purpose. It's pretty awesome.
And that maybe there are some people who feel as if they don't have a purpose. Right. And when you have one, you have a chance to be more fulfilled.
Right.
And so this is the speech that he's going to give when you're honored the Women of Distinction luncheon.
He's a little ham, so he's going to open the whole program, and then he's also going to help raise some money. So, who can resist a cute kid with no front teeth?
Nobody can. Nobody can.
Yeah.
Because when they're that age, let me tell you, they sell the most popcorn and they sell the most cookies for their scouts.
Yeah. Yeah. He's something else. Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking with me. Again, this is going to be your second your second time on my podcast. You're my first repeat.
I'm like the Alec Baldwin of your podcast.
I would love. So who's been on like Saturday Night Live the most times? Like, is it like Steve Martin or somebody, or is it Alec Baldwin?
It's Alec Baldwin
Has hosted the most times.
I think so.
I'm gonna have to look that up later for when I do my intro and my outro to this. But like, yeah, I feel like you're my Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah, not Stephen.
Stephen, Alex. Did I say Stephen?
Stephen, not
Alex.
So, yeah.
You're my Alex Baldwin.
Alec.
Can I talk?
No.
Can I make the right words come out of my mouth
Daniel.
right now? You're not Daniel. No. I am Brooke. We are Brooke.
Oh, man, you guys.
We are the crazy Creole mommy.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for taking time out
I'm
at
so proud of you for doing
DDW.
this.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's like, it's super fun.
It's good,
It's
though.
super fun to
good.
talk to my friends about some of the deeper issues that we may not just ever bring up.
Yeah.
You know? Nobody's cried yet. I have to work on that.
Yeah, you gotta like channel Barbara Walters.
I gotta do my Barbara or yeah.
Yeah. You need to pull
I'll get
that.
there. Maybe I need a few more episodes under my belt before I can start getting some people to cry.
Get some.
Or,
It ain't gonna be me.
You know what? You know who it probably will be? It'll be me. All right, man. Thanks.
No problem.
And there you have it, my interview with Brooke Abbott, the Crazy Creole Mommy. We talked about her being honored at a Women of Distinction luncheon at the LA chapter of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. It did go off very well, and they raised lots of money for the foundation. Special thanks to Brooke, and you can find her everywhere on the interwebs as the Crazy Creole Mommy. You can find me, Amber Tresca, as About IBD. I'm also on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. I do sometimes remember that Instagram exists. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you next time.